Elira had avoided Lucien since her return, not out of fear, but because she knew what kind of game he played. Her younger brother had been the darling of the court, the golden child, praised for his wisdom and patience, but underneath the charm was something twisted. He didn't desire the throne because he wanted to rule. He desired it because he wanted to break those who once looked down on him. In her first life, she had defended him, protected him, believed his lies until the blade was at her neck. That mistake would not be repeated. So when an invitation came, handwritten in gold ink, sealed with his royal crest, she accepted. It was time to see the monster up close. The private audience chamber was smaller than the throne room, draped in rich navy tapestries, and lit only by golden candlelight. Lucien waited by the window, dressed not in his imperial robes, but in a casual black tunic, sipping wine. "Dearest sister," he greeted smoothly. "You've been busy." Elira approached slowly. "So, have you—" He smiled, slow and dangerous. "You're different. They say you've grown thorns. Is that what they say?" She kept her tone even. Lucien set down his cup. "It's not a bad thing. Thorns protect the flower, but they also draw blood, Elira. Be careful where you point them." Elira stepped closer. "Did you forget I already bled for this empire once? This time, it will bleed for me if it must." For a flicker of a moment, his mask slipped. Not fear, but intrigue. Lucien liked control. He liked chaos too, but only when he started the fire. Now, he wasn't sure if the spark belonged to him anymore. They spoke of innocuous things after that. Palace renovations, wedding dates, court politics, but beneath every word was a threat. A dance of knives without ever touching steel. And then, as Elira turned to leave, Lucien said one final thing. "The crown prince is hiding something from you." She paused, but did not turn back. "I know," she replied coldly. And she left him standing there in his golden tower, wine still in hand, no longer sure if he had a leash on her anymore. That night, Elira stood alone at her balcony, eyes fixed on the stars. The empire below glittered like a serpent's scales, beautiful, cold, and full of venom. She had seen the strings that bound her in her first life. Now, she would find the hands that pulled them and cut them all. The snow came early that year, just a light dusting, barely enough to coat the palace roofs. But Elira felt it as a sign. Change was coming, and with it, something long buried beneath silence. A messenger arrived before dawn. Not one of hers, nor Kellen's. He was bruised, half frozen, and terrified. He carried no crest, only a scroll sealed in wax shaped like a broken fang. Elira's hands trembled slightly as she took it. That symbol didn't exist in the current court, but she remembered it. It belonged to the exiled House Aravan banished after the Northern Rebellion. Officially, they had been executed. Quietly, rumors said one branch had survived, hidden in the mountain cities, waiting for a chance to return. Elira broke the seal. The letter was brief, written in old northern dialect, a script banned in most of the empire. It spoke of unrest, a rising, a leader cloaked in shadows gathering forces across the tundra, and one line underlined in deep red ink. "He knows the truth about your death." Elira read that line 3 times, heart-hammering, the truth about her death. In her past life, she had been executed by the crown prince's order, officially for treason. Unofficially, the charges had been false, but she had never known who started the accusations. She had assumed it was Lucien. What if it wasn't? What if it had come from the north? Or worse, from someone who knew the truth of her rebirth? She burned the letter. There were too many eyes now, too many moving pieces, but the name at the bottom remained seared in her memory. General Solron Erebon, a ghost from a lost war, a rebel thought dead, and perhaps a man who knew more about her fate than anyone else alive. That evening, she wrote only one letter, coded, untraceable. and sent it through the Velvet Court's underground channels. It read, "If Solron Iravan is alive, I must meet him. Find him quietly before Kellen or Lucian does." She sealed it. No crest, no name. Just one instruction. Deliver it to the Ice Widow. The war was stirring again, this time not with swords, but with secrets. And Elira was no longer caught in the middle. She was walking directly into the fire. The Ice Widow was not a myth. She was worse. Real and hidden beneath layers of influence, so quiet they barely echoed in the court. Her true name had been erased after the war. Some said she was once a northern noble. Others claimed she had been a royal spy master burned by betrayal. Elira didn't care who she had been. She only cared about what the woman knew now. The meeting took place in a ruined chapel, deep within the grave district of the capital, a forgotten place where even rats avoided the shadows. The Ice Widow appeared without ceremony, veiled in frost-colored lace. Her voice was dry wind in memory. "You've grown teeth, little flower. I want truths," Elira said. "About General Solron, about my death." The Ice Widow studied her. "You were never meant to die. Not by the sword, not by poison. You were meant to fade, discredited, isolated. The prince's order only came when you refused to break. So Kellen did not forge the chain, but he fastened the lock." She stepped closer. "But your brother, he paid the blackmailers, fed the rumors. Let the fire reach you first." Elira's stomach twisted. Both of them, Kellen and Lucian, one buried the blade, the other turned it. But it wasn't their plan alone, the widow added softly. Solron was betrayed, yes. But before his exile, he uncovered something about the divine succession, a lie at the heart of the empire. Elira's blood ran cold. She had heard whispers of that phrase. Divine succession. In old records, long buried. What lie? The widow smiled bitterly. He's the one guarding it. Then she was gone, a ghost again. That night, Elira stormed into Kellen's private chamber without announcement. He was waiting as if he'd known. "You've been digging," he said. "You let me die, and you lied about why." Kellen stood slowly, eyes shadowed. "I saved you." Elira laughed, sharp and furious. "You let him execute me? I saved you from what they planned." His voice cracked. "They wanted you broken, silenced. I pushed for execution because it gave you dignity." A silence so deep it hurt. "What is the divine lie?" she demanded. Kellen hesitated. "Then you shouldn't be Empress." Elira froze. "You're not of the bloodline," Kellen said. "You're stronger, smarter. But you were adopted. They hid it to protect the bloodline myth. The gods didn't choose you." "But the people don't matter to the gods," Kellen whispered. "Only the illusion of order." The room spun. Everything she had believed, her role, her duty, her past, shattered. But as the pieces fell, something colder took their place. Resolved she didn't need bloodline or gods. She would take the throne and burn the lie they built atop her bones.